Hello friends, my name's Brett and I'd like to welcome you to writingforfreedom.com and my blog, Brett's blog. This is a welcome video and I'd like to say welcome and thank you for taking the time to come and check this out. I have got just a couple things that I'd like to share with you at this point, and then I hope that you'll go a little deeper and check out some of the other blogs and other content on the site. If you're here on my blog, I presume that you've spent at least some time around writingforfreedom.com, and so you have an idea who I am and what's going on. But let me just take a few short seconds to lay that foundation. In July of 2013, I was arrested on a beautiful white sandy beach in Mobile in the Philippines, and that began 825 days of wrongful imprisonment for a crime that never happened. And while I was serving those 825 days, while leading up to my trial, where I eventually was acquitted and then some charges were dropped, I learned a lot. You know, I read a lot. Of course, I meditated, had a lot of time to think. I prayed. I studied. I had two amazing lawyers who I'll introduce you to later at another time, probably when I post a blog thanking the people that helped and supported me. But working with these two amazing men, I got to know the criminal justice system from the inside out. Of course, I was held inside the system under a ridiculous $1 million bail, in particular so that I could not get out, and there were reasons for that, which I'll talk about later at another time. But while I was incarcerated for those several years, over 2 years, you know, I learned a lot. I read a lot, and I met a lot of people. I saw the system from the inside. I was transported internationally as a wanted person. I didn't know I was wanted until they arrested me in that beautiful beach. But nonetheless, I was held by numerous law enforcement agencies. I was held by the FBI, the Philippine Tourist Police, the Philippine National Police, the Philippine Immigration Law Enforcement, whatever they call themselves, I don't know. The Marin County District Attorney's Office had custody of me for a while. The Marin County Sheriff's Office had custody of me for the longest portion of time while I was incarcerated in their jail. So that was a great learning experience. And of course, I was incarcerated with killers and bank robbers and rapists and a few child molesters even, and many drug dealers and drug manufacturers and income tax evaders and burglars and residential burglars and commercial burglars, and just, you have no idea the level of options that are available when somebody breaks the law. It's daunting and necessary, frankly. I'm not being critical, I'm just saying. So but in that process of studying and working, you know, my case, it was not it was criminal, but it was not violent crime. It was white-collar crime, but it was very heinous. The accusations were heinous, and the charges were very bad. And they were trying to send me to prison for over 10 years, essentially because I received a legal, publicly voted on, and publicly approved loan from my employer. So during that time, while I was incarcerated and living with, I guesstimate somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 inmates, give or take, over the course of my stay. I just really got a good look at America's prison industrial complex and the way that people are treated and in my opinion, a number of the things that are wrong. Let me say from the outset here that this site is not to argue that the system should be eliminated. It's not to argue that everybody is innocent, because they're not. It's not to argue that everybody should get out of jail or prison, because they shouldn't. But certainly some should, and the system should evolve. The system is archaic, it's broken in many places, and I'm going to take you on a journey and show you what I learned and show you the areas that I think are broken. So, or at least severely underperforming, let's say at the very least. I'm hoping that writingforfreedom.com and my blog and the other side of the site, which I'll get to in just a second, the 825 days side of the site, will be a part of the national conversation to encourage our leaders to pursue evolving the system so that the types of things that are happening far too often don't. What kinds of things am I talking about? I'm talking about massive prosecutor misconduct, well documented. I'm not just making that allegation. I'm going to take you through a number of reports and studies and facts and figures that I think will support that. I'm going to talk to you about the problems with mass incarceration and a number of pieces of documentation about the number of innocents that are wrongfully imprisoned in our system. And you can pursue that if you have a particular passion for that. I would highly recommend that you go to theinnocenceproject.org, and you'll see numerous cases of people that were wrongfully imprisoned. I mean, wholly innocent humans who were tortured and tormented in a horrible retributive justice system, and who on average I think spent over 14 years in prison before they were exonerated. And that's a great resource. And so that was the inspiration for why I'm sitting here in front of you today. So what did that inspiration cause me to do? Two things. One, I wrote a book, 825 Days. The full title is 825 Days, The Crime That Never Happened and How I Survived 27 Months of Imprisonment to Prove It. You can look for that on the top menu up here to your right under 825 Days. And there's a commercial that was produced. If you click on the book cover, you'll see the commercial. There's several paragraphs introducing some of the ideas that I've just shared with you. There's another video at the bottom of me introducing what I'm going to present on the 825 Days side of the site. And then there's an invitation to subscribe there, where you'll receive access to videos of my book, 825 Days, and also access to the family forum, where you can introduce yourself, you can ask me questions about my book, or you can introduce yourself and talk about issues you have. Maybe you have a loved one or a child who's at risk, or maybe you have an older child who's already been incarcerated several times, and the next time might be the last time, and they need to get their head together and they need to know what's going on. Or maybe you're a young person and you're a significant role model, or your father or your auntie or someone in your life has been incarcerated or is in danger of it, and you're scared and you don't know what to expect, and you don't know what they're going to go through. Maybe they don't know what to expect and what they're going to go through. And that was how, after I decided to write the book 825 Days, those concerns were how the idea for Writing for Freedom came about. And that's why I developed Writing for Freedom. It's a resource, and it's a resource for victims who are severely underrepresented in America's retributive criminal justice model, almost discarded, really. They're used as a pawn in many cases, just to support the system, but in fact their genuine needs are often not met, and that's a shame. And it's a resource for innocent people who are being harassed by the system or who are trapped in it, and it's also a resource for guilty people who are just tired and they've had enough, and they need help, and they don't want to live the life that they're living anymore. And so I've tried to put together a series of resources that can help them learn to first survive with some integrity, and then thrive amidst their situation and move beyond it. And then there's a class of people, of course, who are incarcerated, and they'll probably never move beyond it. And unfortunately, I can't reach those people. I'd have a lot to say to them too, and I wish them well. And I would hope that spiritually and inside that they would evolve out of the person that they were when they committed the crimes that they committed. But they can't be in society. They can't be around our friends and loved ones. And that's as it should be, because, well, they forfeited their right for that. But they have an entire social group around them. They have, in many cases, children and family and brothers and sisters that don't understand, and some of them think they didn't do it, and some of them know they did it, and others are just sad that they're gone, you know, and those people need help. Those people are victims also. They're not the victims of the horrendous or heinous crime who deserve our utmost compassion and sympathy, but they're also victims that need help and support, and they don't know what's going on or why things are happening the way they are. And so I hope that that the Writing for Freedom side of the site will be a resource for those people also. In closing, I just want to give you an idea what to expect from the blog. At the beginning, there's going to be a number of foundational blogs that I need to make, and those are going to come pretty quickly. I want to get that laid down. There's probably 5 or 6 or 7. I have a thank you blog to the people who helped and supported me through my trials and trial. I have a series of blogs, probably 3 that I'm going to make that are basically addressed to you, and then the last one is addressed to the law enforcement community themselves. And I'll invite you to pay attention or check back in and see those. I have another blog planned that I'm not going to say too much about now, but it's going to come up pretty soon, probably before Thanksgiving. Once those blog posts have been laid down, I'm then debating how often to bring blog posts to you. I've heard all sorts of recommendations, from every single day to once a week to twice a month. There's no way that I can go as infrequent as twice a month. There's just too much on the agenda. Once a week doesn't even seem enough. So I'm playing with 2 to 3 times a week. And those blog posts, the first 5 or 6 or 8 foundational blog posts, and then the regular planned blog posts will be on the calendar, which is on this page, and you can note that. I'll announce them ahead of time, and so you can check that out and see if something's coming up that you're interested in. In addition to those posts, there will be random posts about everything from holidays or special occasions to significant events in my life that are encouraging or exciting, to, I don't know, any kind of random, fun, silly, happy things in the news, the media. We won't be getting into politics. I'm a registered no party preference, and I have really nothing to say about politics. I vote, I do my duty as a citizen, and I support the leaders who are in place over us, and I wish them well, and I hope that they do a good job. And other than that, you're not going to hear me talk too much about politics. So my passion is helping people that are involved in or impacted by the prison industrial complex, and that's really where my energy is going to focus, aside from these other extra posts that I've just mentioned. I'll be bringing, so you can expect from my book on the 825 Days side of Writing for Freedom. I'll be blogging certain issues out of the book that are sexy or exciting or dangerous or whatever, and kind of teasing you and giving you an idea of what we're dealing with over there. I'm hoping that you'll go over to the 825 Days side of the site and check it out. And I'll be blogging in particular when the innocenceproject.org pushes out notices about people who've been exonerated in their lives and how they're doing post-incarceration, or people that are incarcerated who they believe are innocent and they're trying to get them out of prison. We'll be talking about them on the blog too, and those will be pretty serious. But those won't be the foundational posts. Those will be pretty spontaneous. When I'm notified from the innocenceproject.org, I'll pass those on to you. So just wanted to say welcome. So this is the first blog post that's going to be on the site. This is going to be on the front page, and it's going to stay there. And this will be your invitation to come in and see what I learned and what I went through, and to participate in helping the types of people that I hope to help. And I hope that you won't just stay here. I hope that you'll take this and go out to the Writing for Freedom side of the site. I hope you'll check out the links, the Inmate Art Gallery. I hope you'll check out our purpose page to see more about what we're trying to do to help people and who those people are. I hope you'll look at our inspiration link. I hope you'll look at our ADR mediation link, where we talk about the differences between a retributive model of justice and a restorative model of justice. the 825 days side, which I've mentioned several times. And then we have a whole list of links of writing tools for people that might be interested in writing or aspire to write a book, and then a whole bunch of legal tools on the other side of the front page for people that want to research or who need legal help. And that's it. So again, my name's Brett. I'd like to welcome you. Thank you very much for coming. And I hope to get to know you very well in the near future. Thank you very much. Have a good day.